Good morning, you beautiful lot. Welcome back to the channel. So it's our second and last part of colouring in Rose and Her Friends 2, and we're colouring this beautiful tropical birds girl. So I'll bring you in slightly and we'll get started. I hope you've all had a good weekend. It's been nice here. Stripping paint, so you'll have to excuse the state of my shredded hands, but I'm getting there. It's just slow. I have managed to print the picture off, photocopy it and print it so that I can copy it, and I've got some colours out ready to go, and we're just going to try. So the first colour I've got is Process Red, because I want to put the tip of this flower in and make this a little bit more prominent. So yes, you can see. Alright, so I'm going to bring that edge round and just lightly pull it out. So if you remember last time on Thursday we put in Deco Pink on part 1. So we've got a little bit of waxy base down there, and then we can bring back the, no, that's not Deco Pink. Not doing very well. Already. I've lost my, there it is. Right next to me. And we can just pull that out. So we get that nice bright pink edge on our flower. We'll do another one. So if we come around the edge of it, take out that grey, like that, and then we'll just stroke it in. So despite having worn a mask to do the put the paint stripper on, I'm mostly using a heat gun, but there are some real stubborn areas, so I'm having to use a chemical stripper. And despite having worn a mask, it's really affected my chest. It's horrible, horrible stuff. I don't know how all these furniture restorers and things like that, how they have like proper systems, don't they? But oh yeah, it made me feel really ill. Like, I think it's burnt my throat, even though even though I had a mask on, it's still, and I've still got to keep going. I haven't finished yet. Okay, now in the centre of the flower we put yellow, didn't we, last week? So I'm going to take Spanish orange and canary yellow, and I'm going to put some brightness in here. So this is the Spanish orange. Pull that in. And then just over the top of that lightly, and I'm just going to pull out that canary yellow. Like this. Now I picked this picture last week thinking, oh, it'll be nice and fun and quick and easy. And it is fun, but it's not quick and easy. I don't know what I was thinking, and we can do the same in the rest of the flower. Put a bit of Spanish orange in those little doohickey things. I want to make sure that I keep the white bit in between the centre and the petal, the edge of the petal. Thank you to everybody that supported me in watching the video. I mean, I do try to do these things that are a little bit different, because it doesn't matter if you've got the book or not. There may be techniques in there that that I do that you hadn't thought of, or you know, so you learn stuff just by watching, even if you don't have that particular book. Okay, so I'm going to finish that flower like that, and we are going to move on to our beautiful parrot. So I've got 4 colours out for the bird, and I've got denim, I've got cerulean, blue lake and sky blue light to do this with. So I'm going to come in, I'm just going to sharpen the denim. I had sharpened a lot of the pencils before I came on, but actually that should be alright. Okay, so I'm going to come in with the denim, and again we've got all the dark parts, so we know where we need to put our darks. It's just a question of layering it up. Can you see? No, there we go, sorry. I'm just pulling in the dark with the denim, and we need to make sure that we leave space for the highlights. That's really important, otherwise we'll just have a block of dark blue. Okay, alright, let's switch to the cerulean. I'm following that denim. I'm still trying to cover up grey patches. Okay, and then the beautiful blue lake, one of my favourite blues. There we go, and then the sky blue light. Now this should help to blend, and then we'll go back in and deepen it all up. Oh, it's surfboard. Wonder what it was. Why have I left that blank? Surfboard, Lucy. Okay, we just pull that denim in really nice and deep. Like that. Back in with the cerulean. So we get that bright blue coming through. Let's see. Okay, that wasn't too bad, was it? And then we have to do the same with this one. So I'm going to pick out the dark spots. So I'm going to come round the edge with our denim, around these little feathers, and then just follow where the dark bits are, really. It's a bit more tricky, but we'll get there. Okay, we're going to bring that edging round here, like this. Yes, I can't say my weekend was restful, and I can't say that it was particularly enjoyable stripping paint off, but the end product was going to be lovely. We've lived with this thick, horrible paint for 20 odd years, and for 20 odd years it's driven me insane. Okay, so we've got that denim shaping, so I'm just going to come in lightly with the denim now and blend that through. Where our dark spots are, and that almost sort of blends into one being there. Alright, switching to cerulean so we get that lovely bright blue coming through. Okay, and I'm going to put the texture on with the cerulean blue, on these little feathers. It's going to be blended through, but it will show underneath, so it will just help to stop our little wing looking so flat. So now we're going to come in with the blue lake and blend that in. Here's the ugly stage that I talk about. Okay, and we're going to take the sky blue light and blend that through. I do try to make the pages that I do accessible to everyone and simplified, so I hope this helps with a little bit of grayscale colouring. And I wasn't really with the game last week. We'd had, like I say, a really difficult, challenging time, but God willing that's over and I can be back to focusing on YouTube life. Sorry, I have to keep sipping tea because my throat is so sore. Okay, we're going to come back with our blue lake. Alright, let's come back in with the darks. So the denim, and I want to deepen this up at the bottom here, just so that merges. A little bit more denim up here around the side of the head. And round this wing. And then again the cerulean. We might need something bright, I think, like let me think, non-photo blue, something like that might be quite good for around the head. So I'm just going to bring up a few bits like that and come in with that blue lake. That will help to blend it out and smooth it through, because Amazon paper's got, despite what people think, there is quite a bit of tooth to Amazon paper, so it can be quite a challenge to blend it out and get rid of that tooth. There we go. Okay, right, have I got, I'm looking for non-photo blue. I don't know if I've got it out. Let me have a look. Aha, what's that one? Oh, a bit of true blue, that would be perfect, I think. Nice and bright, I have to sharpen it. Yeah, a bit of true blue, that'll brighten things up a bit. There we go. Let's put a couple of streaks of that in. Back to that sky blue light. And blend that through. Then here we're going to go into that greens, so okay. So we'll brighten that up a little bit more. Out a few details with the sky blue light. Okay, I keep saying okay and then going to leave it, and then I have to play. Let's tidy things up. I just want the appearance of it being a little bit more There we go, a little bit more rounded. So it's sitting round the body rather than flat. A bit more denim. There we go. Alright, let's do the body before we go any further. So I've got my oranges and yellows. So here they are. I've got 5 pencils. Now whether we'll need all this lot, I don't know. But we've got, let me put them in order. So I've got pale vermilion, mineral orange, goldenrod, Spanish orange and the canary yellow that we've already used. So, and I need to do the wing, but let's start. So actually let's put in some canary yellow and preserve this bright yellow lightly. And don't worry about coming up here because that's going to be green, so that won't hurt having a bit of yellow there at all. Okay, so she's going to look very bright for a minute, but that's not a bad thing. Can you see how the more we do that the skin gets paler, which is why I sort of try and I leave it. Okay, so we're now going to come in with the pale vermilion, and that is in the dark areas, so I'm going to pull all those out. It's really early in the morning here, so you're going to get the, hopefully get the little birds singing rather than just the crows, which would be nice. Still haven't fixed my watch strap, it's driving me mad. I broke it while I was doing the, well, yeah, I knocked it off my wrist and it fell on the stairs, and I've still got the pin and everything, but I've got to go and get it put back together. I hate not having a watch. Okay, so pulling these out with the vermilion, so we leave the yellow behind. And I love how just that little bit, those little bits of detail suggest the feathers all over. We don't have to do the whole thing for it to, for our brains to say, okay, this has got feathers. So I'm just pulling out the pale vermilion. There we go. That little collar bit there is going to have some black on it. Alright, so we'll switch to the next colour. I want a bit of a duller orange, so I'm going to come in with the mineral orange, just to pull out that pale vermilion. Like that. And then we're going to come in with the goldenrod again. So I go back over the last little section that we'd coloured and backtrack over it with the new colour, and then pull that colour out. Try and leave yellow sections in those feathers. Just looking, this bit's a little darker here. Okay, and then we've got Spanish orange. Brightens things up considerably. Now in the picture I think that stops about there, but that's okay. I've come up a bit too far. And then we will blend that out again with our canary yellow. Oh, felt like something was crawling on my leg. Horrible sensation, isn't it? Terrifies me, bugs. Blend that through. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of the goldenrod just under this wing where we put the shadow with the alcohol marker, which seems like a million years ago now. So much happens in that 1 week, doesn't it? Okay, and then I'll take the canary yellow and just pull that, blend that in, just so we've got a little shadow under the wing, nothing major. And then I think I'll grab some white, make sure it's clean. Yeah, there was a bit of blue or something on there. And then I'm going to put in some highlights in those feathers. Just squash some white in there. There we go. Little bit more pale vermilion now around those motorbikes. I tell you, they drive me mad. How is it legal that they're allowed to have such loud bikes coming past? It, you know, when we had my grandson here, it woke him up, made him jump, woke him up. It was that loud. Okay, I think that looks cool. Just trying to get rid of that grey with the pale vermilion, just going back over those. Alright, can always blend that off camera. Alright, let's see, what else did I get out? I got out black, 70% cool grey, and we're going to take a little bit of this blue lake, and I am going to put blue lake in the beak, just about there. Just looking at where it is in the picture, just about there. And then we're going to come in with our blacks and start putting that in. So around here, there's a little orangey bit there I'll have to do. Now the blue is the highlight, so I'm going to come in with all of this with this black. And then come in with a tiny bit of this 70% cool grey and pull that black out. Going to come over that blue lake really lightly, and then coming back in with the blue lake. There we go, bit more black, lightly come in with that. There we go. Back in with the grey. And then we've got the bottom half of the beak. We didn't do the same. So the black here. They look very disjointed, don't they? Parrot beaks. You get this very delicate feathery body and then this big beak. I'd love a parrot. One year when we were on holiday, a man brought his pet parrot and he had to put it back in the caravan because it didn't shut up. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant, but I think somebody must have complained. You know, you get the usual fun police, you know. Alright, so we've got a black beak. Love it. Alright, we need to pull the black out round here. So, in the picture here, this is a scary bit. That comes all the way up to that green bit there. And then we have to do, I'm just trying to work it out, a little bit coming up there. I'll leave that bit because we've got to put the orange on it yet. And then there's black coming to this here. And there's another line to here. And another one, but a little bit less. There we go. Alright, I'll sort it out in a minute, I promise. And then we've got this little bit has some black here. And we bring that up to meet these lines here. Okay. And then we want to fit in that 70. Like that. I don't think there's a I might come up a little further there. There's nothing showing around the eye. Okay, and I'm going to pull in some 30% French grey. Oops, so it's a little warmer and a lot softer in colour. There we go. I think we can always touch up with some white pencil or pen. Okay, while I've got the 30% French grey out, I am going to, with the warmness against the cool, I'm going to pull this surfboard colour out. So I'm just really lightly pulling that in. And I like mixing up the greys. I like having cool and French and warm and cool, and I think it looks really nice. Just adds a bit of dimension, I think. So I'm just pulling that out. It gets softer as I come out, so it disappears. Holding my pencil further back so I'm using it really lightly. So this is what I'm talking about, techniques that you might not know. I'm going to do this bit. and we are going to come back and fix our tropical trees as well. Our red palm trees. Okay, I'm going to come in with some white. Make sure your white is clean again. And I'm just going to... Oh, see, make sure your white is clean. Got a bit of yellow. Never mind. I'm sure a bit of white pen will cover that over. And then I'm just going to blend that out with the white. Yeah, I'll put wax over it and then a little bit of white pen, and that'll get rid of that. I want to do this bit first before we do the red on the tree, because we would drag, I might drag red into the white surfboard if I didn't. There we go. Alright. I'm going to sharpen my white pencil. I know it seems like a lot, but it's actually quite... Put some white in here. And then we'll do the blue eyes with, let's bring in the blue lake. And what was that really bright when we pulled out? True blue. Come back in with that blue lake. There we go. Alright, we need to do the top of our parrot's head, and then I'll finish the flower and that wing. Right, so we can have light green, parrot green, let's do parrot green, that makes sense, and some, maybe a little bit of cobalt turquoise, just to blend from that black. So a little bit of cobalt turquoise. Just a little bit. Like that. I love cobalt turquoise, it's a beautiful colour. Okay, then we'll come in with the parrot green. And that's why I said don't worry about your yellow coming up too far, because we're going to put these greens in. And then what have I got? Light green. And we'll blend that. Okay, I'm going to come back in with that parrot green now. Put some more of that in. There we are, and we'll have a tiny bit of canary yellow coming through here, so it will lift that green. There we go, there was much more yellow green. Alright, so I need to finish the flower around the edge, and I need to finish my cup of tea and then I'll be back and we'll do the palm tree and the toucan together, and we've got the little leaves, and then that's pretty much it, I think. We've got put a bit of pencil on this bit down here. It's a bit meh, if you know what I mean. And some white. That'll brighten it up a bit. And there as well. Put some white in there. There we are. Alright, I'll go and do what I need to do, and then I'll meet you back here and we'll carry on. See you in a minute. Okay, so I've finished the flower and I've really defined the edge, and I've gone round the little, I don't know, the little bits that stick up, whatever they're called. And I've got Tule Art from the pastel set, number 23, and I'm just going to put a little bit of yellow in the centre of those, like that. And we can come back to it and do some more Tule Art work should we need to. Okay, I think we should address this surfboard. Well, black pen first, and I'm going to bring out the pupil on our parrot. And that should really bring to life our little parrot here. And we're going to put a bit of black around the top here. Really opens him up, doesn't it? Maybe we can even put a little bit of darker around the beak there. I still haven't done that orange bit. There we go. Okay, we will come back and do her eye, but we'll finish her off last because she needs some, I think she needs a little bit more colour now. Alright, so for the palm trees, I've just got two colours. I've got raspberry, which is lovely and dark, and I've got crimson red. So I'm going to come in and tidy this up where I couldn't get the alcohol marker in, like this. And the underneath of all these palm leaves. So we'll actually have some shape to them rather than just a red blob on our surfboard. Like this. And then I'm going to come in with the crimson red. And fill that in even more. So we've actually got the proper shape now. And then, of course, we need some poppy red, and that's permanent red. Poppy red, and I'm going to put some of that in, just because. We'll brighten it up a bit. There we go. There, that looks a whole lot better, doesn't it? So that's how I'm going to do those. So I'll put those to one side so I know. I'll finish them off. You don't want to watch me do all that. Okay. So we've got our toucan. Let's come back to our pale vermilion, and we want the Spanish orange. I think we'll have a little bit of mineral orange, and of course the beautiful canary yellow. So let's come in with our pale vermilion. Now I'm going to bring you in a little bit. There we go. So I want the pale vermilion at the base of this beak, and it comes all the way along like this. And there's a patch here. if you're still with me at this point, will you let me know in the comments? Sometimes, well, at the moment, when I feel really vulnerable, and I don't know, you know, why in particular, particularly not on YouTube. I shouldn't feel like that. You know, you guys are amazing. But if you are still with me and you're watching, can you let me know in the comments that you are still with me? There's got some little toucan lines here. I'll put those in. Little beaky lines. Pull that down. There's going to be a black tip there, so don't worry about going too far. And we're going to bring this pale vermilion all the way up around the top of this beak. Like that. So we get a nice crisp edge. I'm just looking, that's black, obviously. Okay. Alright. A tiny bit of mineral orange. I mean, mineral orange is quite dull, but we are going to add canary, so I'm going to bring that out. Like that. And then we want the Spanish orange. And we're going to leave a strip so that we can get in some, leave a strip of the alcohol marker, but we also want some canary yellow. And using that Spanish orange to blend those colours, get the teeth of the paper gone. And this is quite orangey here. Okay, there's a little bit of Spanish orange here. Okay, let's go to our canary. I'm going to put some canary around that eye. That'll make it, help it really stand out when we colour it. And then canary yellow, but I'm going to leave a strip of that original alcohol marker like that. Alright, perfect, very very good, I like it. Alright, then we need black and we need blue lake. So I'm going to put the blue lake in first on the tip there and round here. I know that sounds mad, but we need it like we did on the beak of the parrot. And then we're going to pull in this black, so really dark black tip of the beak there, and then just gently pulling it in, so that blue. There we are. So we get a little bit of blue showing through, and then we'll do the same here, so darkest towards the eye, and then we'll bring the black out lightly. Like that. That's very good. Okay, so we need a bright blue, so I'm going to come in with cerulean blue. And I'm going to cover the entire bird lightly in cerulean blue. But not the neck, just this bit, and here as well, because this is our undercolour. I love how, I did do a tutorial ages and ages ago on how to cut easy skin and hair, and I did long black plaits, and I put blue in. That was with polychromos, and I put blue in as the undercolour, and I just love how real black hair, when it hits the light, is so black you get this blue coming through. I love it. Gosh knows how long ago that was. A long time ago. Alright, now we're going to come back in with our colours. So we're going to grab that denim. we don't want all the colours that we used last time, but I do want denim because I want that blue. And then I'm following all the feathers with the denim. We are going to make him or her black, but I want these colours. Alright, a bit of denim here. Like this. Okay, let's do the scary part. Let's bring in the black. Actually, we should blend this. So Blue Lake, let's blend this first, just lightly, just so we get rid of some of this tooth. Otherwise we'll be stuck. Okay, let's bring in the black. So, we want to try and bring out these feathers. So, I'm going to, a nice defined edge here. And then I'm going to flick in this black. I do not want to obliterate all this blue, so I'm going to be quite careful here. Nice defined black edge here. I'm following those feathers that were already here and bringing the black out lightly. Okay, we're going to take a little bit of 70% cool grey and pull that out. Pull that black out into that blue. And this will help us blend the two together, making it look black but keeping that blue undertone that I want. Then we can come back with the black and deepen it up. Alright, and then let's do a little bit of Blue Lake on that as well, so we don't lose the blue and it will drag out the other colours that we've put in, which I can't remember now, so that'll be fun when I edit. I'm going to have to listen to myself talk, and I hate that. I hate hearing my own voice. Okay. And then we'll come back with our black. And we can afford to be really bold now. Put some little feather indications in there. There we go. Alright, then we want 30% French grey for this little white area here. A little bit of grey in there. And then I'm going to take the True Blue and put it in the eye. They've all got blue eyes. True Blue, and then I want Denim at the top of the eye. Like that. And then I might put a little bit of sky blue light at the bottom here, lighten that up a bit. And then I'm going to go in with my black pen. Excuse my hand for a minute. I'm just going to put a black edge there, like that. And also on the tip of the beak. So it's really super black. Like that. Alright, and we're going to do her eye the same. So, I'm going to bring in some denim. Then I want some true blue, I think. Oh, cerulean. Let's put some cerulean in. And we'll have a little bit of true blue over that. And the sky blue light. And then black. Okay, we'll put some more highlights in a bit. All right, oh my goodness, okay. All right, feet. So I'm doing 70% cool. Like this. It's a beautiful book, this, beautiful, and I love the fact that you've got some of the images already done at the front that you can copy. Not all of them, but I really do think it gives such encouragement that they can be done quite easily. There we go, and I'm going to put very softly a tiny bit of the 30% French grey in and around there. Mixing up those greys, I think, makes such a difference. Look, there we are. And then the toucan's foot is a kind of blue grey, so we're going to put in Blue Lake. Can you see? Yes, good. Blue Lake. And pick it out with 70% cool grey. Pick out the detail. Like that. I'll round her eye off a bit more. I know where she looks weird. She needs some definitive eyelashes there. Let's put a few in like that. And maybe here. Okay, that's better. Alright, so all we've got left now is I need to go off and finish this surfboard, and then we're going to put some extra colour on our little lady, and some white highlights on the eyes and things, and the background is going to be super simple. So I'm going to go and finish my palm trees, and we've got the leaves to do. Okay. So I'm going to bring in my safe colours here. Prussian green. Let's pull out the dark with the Prussian green. Let's try and keep the details because they're cute. Prussian green. It's one of my favourite greens, Prussian green. Like that. And then we'll have, let's see, let's have some lime peel, and we hopefully can blend that into the alcohol marker for a nice bright easy leaf. There we go, and this is why I love alcohol marker bases. It makes life so simple. Alright, okay, let me go and finish the surfboard then. And then I'll be back with you and we'll tidy it all up and pull it all together with with all the details that are necessary. She needs, I think, maybe some more colour, definitely on her lips, and we'll see once we've done that. And we need to sort these eyes out. I'm not happy with particularly hers because she hasn't got the highlights on it yet that she needs. But yep, we'll come back and sort it out. See you in a minute. Right, okay, I've got some supplies ready, but let's put some colour on her lips, and I'm thinking maybe the flower colours. So if we use a tiny bit of processed red and pull it out with the Deco Pink, that might help before we put a load of colour on her. And she's also got some lovely little freckles that we need to do. And a bit of the Deco Pink. I mean, I don't want to make her look like she's got a load of makeup on, but she does need some colour there. Okay, that's better, but she needs some freckles. So I'm going to take, I've got a brown, grey Jelly Roll Moonlight. Here's the number if you want it. Come on, camera, there we go. There's the number, barcode. If you are still watching, can you let me know which number it is that you use to order new Jelly Roll? Okay, so I'm going to put this here, little freckles back in. Because they're cute. There we go, she's got some freckles. Okay. White gel pen. This is my Langro gel pen. I love them. I think they're brilliant pens. Let's get it re-rolling. And then we are going to add the highlights. Just looking at the picture. A bit down there. And in our toucan, I've just got another one there. That's better. Yeah, okay. Cool. Alright. And I think that's probably about it. We could put some that tulle art that we used, we could put some little feathery streaks in. Now it'll look really stark to start with, but it does mellow down once it dries, and it'll also pick up some of the colour from underneath. But it won't hurt just to add some little indication of feather. And in the picture there is some just coming off here. And as that dries, it will tone down a bit. Okay. Alright, so while that's drying, what I've got, I'll just move this to one side for a minute so I can show you. What I've got is a stencil from Amazon, which if you don't have, sorry about, I've just knocked you, sorry. If you don't have, you can just cut rounded shapes out. This is, I think, I got it from Amazon, but I think it's just a bit of thick acetate, actually. And then I've got a makeup brush, these ones, you'll have seen all these before, and people do them. I've done it for a long time. And the King Art gel sticks, which I was so kindly gifted. And we're going to put the cloud in. And let's see, what have we got? I like this one, I like the look of this one for our clouds. Hopefully I'll be able to tell you what colour is. I think they do have the colours on them. These are incredible, I love them. Pale blue, the colour is for this. Let's try, see if that's enough. I'll just move those out of the way. If you don't have gel sticks, you can use chalk. Now you could put, let me try and find it. I did have it the other day and I expect I've moved it somewhere. You could use a board. This is the Caran d'Ache board. use the smooth side and rub it on there and then pick it up with your brush, but I'm going to put it directly on our brush. So just put that back in the book, and I will address that in a minute because I know it looks bad, but we'll sort it out in a minute. I am going to put some cloud stencil on. So what I'm going to do is just rub this on. I know it's blue, it's stained. I think it's probably Distress ink. I'm going to put it directly on the brush and see how that works. Okay, let's see if that's enough. Alright, and we want white cloud. We want blue in this corner. Alright, and then we'll rub it on. Now you could use a fixative to fix this, but look at that, we've got a blue cloud. I'm just going to try and build some areas up so that the cloud comes around our toucan. Like this. Let's have it like that. Or maybe just come down here. Yeah, that'll do. Let's come down here a bit. And I'm not going to keep loading my brush up, so that way we'll get different variants of the blue. Like that. And then we want some, let's turn it around, have a different shape. Let's do this. So you get quite a lot out of your one load of gel stick this way, like that. And if I can squash it down enough to get in here, we'll put a little bit up here into this corner, minding my surfboard. And we'll have, let's get a little bit of pattern here. Like that. Okay, so I could load it back up now so that I get a darker blue again. I'm just gently doing that, I'm not pressing hard. Okay. Oops. Pop that back in. And I'm going to put another one down here, so this will be much bluer. And then I'm going to join it up like that. Actually flip it over, join it up like that, and we'll have some blue down here. Like that. And do the same here, flip it over. And you can kind of make those sort of cloud shapes as well, just by changing the direction. That one doesn't seem very cloudy shape, so I'm going to come back in. They're so easy to use, they're just incredible. I love them. There we go. And then if I come back in and reload, we can make the corners darker. You can use different colours obviously, but it's just an easy technique if you don't have a lot of colours for layering things up and making it dark. So we don't need that, I just want a darker corner. Like that. So we've got all sorts of different blues, and I might just softly bring it down. Whoops. Just softly bring it down round here. Like that. Can you see that? So super simple. And I did do a review years ago now, and I compared it to Neocolor 2s, but it should have been compared really to Gelatos, of some really cheap ones from Amazon that are really good, actually, really good. But then I was gifted these, and I just love them. They're very precious. I keep them, try to keep them pristine. And you get these 10 a penny off of Amazon, you know, packs of these. If you put in makeup brushes, they usually come up cheaper than blending brushes. There we go. I think I just want to address the yellow on there where I've put the Tule art, and I think we're done. So I'm just going to come in with the canary yellow, and I'm just going to lightly go back over that. I don't want to scrape it off. I want it to stay, but I don't want it to be so bright and obvious. So I'm just going to tone it down. And I'll match it with the colours that are there, but it will stay lighter. So come back in with a little bit of the Spanish orange. And you can just texturise things like that. A bit more of the, what did we use? Pale vermilion, didn't we? That's poppy red. Ooh, that would have been a disaster. There we go. And then you have to learn when it's time to step away, so I'm stepping away. Can we get the whole image in? There we go, there she is. So here is, excuse my scribblings on it, but here's the original, and then here's mine. And now I know she's got a lot more colour on her cheeks, but I'm not going to mess. I really like the way she's turned out. We could use number 19, that's 18. In the pastel set is a really pale pink. Let me just get it going. There we go. And we could use that just to put a little highlight on her nose. And just dab it off. There we go. Takes out the grey. But there we are, folks. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know last week it looked a complete and utter disastrous mess. But I'm really pleased with how she came out. Her hair's a lot different, but then it is my picture. So I think it's because I put the chestnut in. But I like it. I do like it. Now we could go round the edge and take the edge of the surfboard out, but like I said, I think there's time to learn when to step the heck away. And I'm going to step the heck away. So thank you so much for joining me. I don't know what I'm doing on Thursday. But I will be back, God willing, that nothing happens to get in the way. And I haven't fumed myself out with paint stripping chemicals. Anyway, so until we meet again, whenever that may be, Patreon on Wednesday if you're interested. This week we'll be doing Hannah Carlson's Grains of Gold, where we do the black background challenge. So we do a Posca or black paint, black matte paint, and I have to come up with a different background each week. So if you haven't seen them before, this is the book we're working from, Hannah Carlson's Grains of Gold, and every week we have to have a different black background, or every time we do it we have to have a different black background. So believe it or not, that one was a black background. So was that. And we're working through here really well. We've got some really lovely pictures that I'm very proud of in this book. That was just a straightforward splatter. And clouds, and just straightforwardness. But I do have to try and come up with something different. So we did lots of clouds on this one. And I love this book. I love working in it. So that's what we're doing on Wednesday. If you're interested in Patreon, it's Hannah Carlson week this week. And yeah, so whenever I see you again, take really good care of yourselves. And see you next time. Bye for now. Bye.